All right, let's dive into one of the biggest, most mind-blowing revolutions happening in AI right now, the explosion of the context window. We are literally going from AI models that could barely remember what you said a few pages ago to engines that can hold entire libraries in their memory. So how did we get here? Let's break it down. I want you to start with this question. Just really think about it. What if an AI didn't just respond to your last sentence, but could remember every single conversation, every document, all the data you've ever given it? I know, it sounds like something straight out of science fiction, but it's happening, and it's happening way faster than anyone thought. Just look at this number, 100 million. That's how many tokens, which you can kind of think of as pieces of words, a real AI model right now can hold in its working memory. This number, from a model called LTM2 Mini, just fundamentally changes the entire game. To put 100 million tokens into perspective, that is the equivalent of about 750 novels. An AI can now read, process, and reason over a lifetime of reading in a single go. This isn't just a small incremental step up, this is a whole new paradigm. So this massive capacity, it's quickly becoming the new normal. The million-token context window isn't some pie-in-the-sky research project anymore. No, it's the baseline for what's next, and it's unlocking capabilities that, even a year ago, felt like pure sci-fi. And look, it's not just one company pulling this off. You've got Google's Gemini pushing 1 to 2 million tokens, Anthropic's Claude is right there at 1 million, and Meta, they're already experimenting with a wild 10 million tokens on a single machine. This is not a fluke. This is an industry-wide arms race towards infinite memory. So, what's the biggest implication of all this? Well, it totally changes how we work with these AIs. For years, we used this clever trick called RAG, where we chop up big documents and spoon-feed the AI tiny little relevant pieces. That's basically becoming obsolete. Why retrieve a single paragraph when you can just give the AI the entire library? This new way is called many-shot learning, and it lets the model's own brain find connections our old, clumsy methods would have totally missed. But there's a catch, and it's a huge one. This incredible power comes at an absolutely incredible cost. It creates this massive engineering challenge, a problem so fundamental that everyone in the field has a name for it, the memory wall. Okay, so at the absolute heart of this problem is this thing called the KV cache. The easiest way to think about it is it's the AI's short-term memory. See, to generate the very next word, the model has to remember the precise mathematical state of every single word that came before it. And with a million-token prompt, this memory just gets astronomically, unmanageably large. And this chart, wow, it just lays the whole problem out perfectly. For a big model, its own brain, the model weights, might take up 140 gigabytes. That's a lot, but it's a fixed cost. But the KV cache, its memory of the conversation, that can balloon to 1.4 terabytes. The AI's memory of what you're talking about becomes 10 times larger than the AI's brain itself. It's just insane. Now, this is a really crucial point. This creates two totally different bottlenecks. First, you have the pre-fill phase. That's when the AI first reads your huge prompt. The GPU is just crunching numbers, totally maxed out. That's a compute problem. But then comes the decode phase, where it generates your answer, one word at a time. And for each and every new word, it has to reread that entire 1.4 terabyte KV cache. The GPU isn't really doing math anymore. It's just sitting there twiddling its thumbs, waiting for data. The bottleneck isn't how fast you can think, it's how fast you can read. So we couldn't just build bigger, faster chips to solve this. It wasn't a brute force problem. The breakthrough had to come from somewhere else. It came from brilliant software innovations, and a lot of them were inspired by ideas from the very early days of computer science. The first huge leap forward was something called page detention. Instead of trying to find one gigantic, continuous block of memory for that terabyte-plus cache, which is almost impossible, it treats memory like the pages in a book. It breaks the KV cache into small, thick-sized chunks, and then uses a table of contents to keep track of where everything is. This just completely eliminates wasted space and lets you manage memory in a super flexible way, just like a modern computer operating system. Then came a system called Jenga, which takes this a step further. You see, modern AI models are complicated, with different parts needing different-sized memory chunks. Jenga cleverly figures out the perfect page size to fit all these different pieces together, well, perfectly. It packs the data in like a master playing Tetris and boosts memory utilization by almost 80%. That is a huge deal. Okay, so managing memory better is one thing. But what if you could just, shrink the data itself? The next set of breakthroughs came from the art of compression, basically inventing a shrinking ray for that massive KV cache without losing the important stuff. This led to these incredible algorithms like KV. It turns out the KV cache has two parts: the key, which is like an address, and the value, which is the data at that address. Kiwi realized these two parts have totally different properties, so it compresses them differently. And bam, you can suddenly fit 4 times the amount of data in the same amount of memory. Then there's SnapKV, which is even more ruthless. It literally watches what the AI is paying attention to and just throws away the tokens it's ignoring, keeping only the heavy hitters. So we have smarter software and shrinking algorithms. The final piece of the puzzle was the hardware itself. To truly tear down the memory wall, we had to completely reinvent the physical infrastructure, the actual roads and highways that move all this data around. So modern AI systems use this 3-tiered memory setup. You've got the ultra-fast HBM right on the GPU chip. That's the hot tier for data you need right now. Then there's the warm tier of system RAM, about 10 times slower. And finally, you've got the cold tier of SSD storage, which is orders of magnitude slower still. The entire game is about intelligently shuffling data between these tiers so the GPU never, ever has to wait. But what if you didn't have to move the data at all? That's the radical idea behind systems like Instafer. Instead of pulling terabytes of data from the SSD all the way to the GPU, it sends a tiny piece of the calculation to the SSD. The storage drive itself does part of the AI's work. It's a concept called in-storage processing, and it just completely bypasses the main data traffic jam in the system. And for that truly infinite context, you have to go beyond just one machine. That's where ring attention comes in, and it's a total game changer. It splits that massive context across a whole ring of GPUs. Each GPU works on its little piece and then passes the result to its neighbor. But here's the magic. The communication happens at the exact same time as the computation. So the time it takes to send the data is completely hidden. The overhead becomes zero, which means you can scale almost infinitely. So when you put all of these pieces together, the software, the algorithms, and the hardware, it's not just an improvement, it's an entirely new way of thinking about computing, a new paradigm. This table really brings it all home. You have these classic operating system ideas like paged attention managing the memory. You have brilliant compression algorithms like Kiwi and SnapKiwi shrinking the data. And you have these radical new hardware and parallelism techniques like InstantFer and ring attention, changing the very physics of how data moves. It's a full stack revolution from top to bottom. And this new way of thinking is being baked directly into the next generation of hardware. NVIDIA's Blackwell platform, for example, links 72 GPUs together to act as one single super GPU. It even has dedicated hardware engines designed specifically to decompress data on the fly at insane speeds, making all those algorithmic tricks even faster. The future isn't coming, it's already being shipped. So we've just walked through this incredible engineering stack that has absolutely shattered the limits of AI memory. We started with this dream of an AI that could remember everything. We slammed headfirst into the physics of the memory wall. And then we saw how this amazing convergence of solutions just tore that wall down. So the final question is no longer, can we do it? The question is, now that an AI's memory is becoming effectively limitless, what are we going to do with it?